This is Legally Goff, where we mix law, pop culture, and the occasional chaos of real life. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Brooke Goff, lawyer, businesswoman, and professional truth teller. Buckle up, this isn't your grandma's legal podcast. Have you ever met two people who could turn a PTA meeting into a comedy show? That's Nicole Maoletti and Krista Edwards. They're sharp, funny, and totally themselves. And today on Legally Goff, we're talking about real life, ridiculous stories, and why being unapologetic is the new professional. Today, we have the pleasure of welcoming Krista and Nicole to the show. You know, I know y'all are looking at me, giving the entry and saying, wow, her makeup looks amazing. Well, it's because Nicole knew I was coming on the show today, so she decided to give it some extra love. But so Nicole and I have met because Nicole is obviously a makeup artist / she's done stuff for Real Housewives and on Bravo / she's a real estate agent / she's an author / everything else. And Krista, you have your own whole portfolio that we're going to get into too. But I want to say welcome.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. And I think starting with such an interesting story is so important, and it kind of breaks the ice, right? So before there was Bridgerton, there was, and Lady Whistledown, there was Lady Goo Goo Gaga.
Correct. You're blowing me up right now because I never told anyone that publicly. So this is a big deal.
You're only going to have me continue coming at you with questions when you
but it's just funny because it was anonymous.
It was anonymous.
I know. Oh, I heard. So tell the story about what it was and what had you do it.
So I always wanted to be a writer, and I went into TV writing. I worked at MTV and VH1. It used to be videos. The only show was at that time The Real World, and MTV was like, I think this might be like a thing. Like, we should have shows. And so I was in that department, and I saw that I could be successful, but I would be very poor. And I thought, I really am too fabulous for this type of lifestyle. And I did not pursue that. And so I ended up doing like grant writing, PR writing, more, normal, boring stuff. Anyway, so long story short, September 11th happens. I leave New York, and then I have 2 kids back to back and a series of bad decisions. I'm a stay-at-home mother in West Hartford with 2 babies. And it was absolutely horrific. And I was like, I have to just get out of the house and talk to people and get through the day with these babies. And I couldn't find anybody that like had my sense of humor. Or I'm in the library floor. I'm like, this is brutal, terrible, and people seem happy. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I was like, and then I always had an urge to write. So I was like, I'm just going to start. At that time, this is like a long time ago, but mom blogs were just starting to happen, and they were very cute, and this is how you make a bento box for your 2-year-old, and like all this like really cheesy stuff that I was not into. So and then I was going out in the world and interacting with people that were like seemed happy about this horrible lifestyle. And so I was like, I have no one to talk to. I'm just gonna start just like telling stories about my day, because there's got to be someone out there in the world that will like appreciate how ridiculous this is. And so I started anonymously, and it ended up 12 years I did it, and I had people all over the world reading it, and I had a fake town, and people would be like, I think you live in my town because that's what my town is like, or there's a mom, I think that I know that mom.
Give us an example.
I was going to Florida, and I heard people on the airplane talking about her blog, and I knew you from, I had just met her.
Artist. I was a makeup
and she said, you have a big mouth, and this is top secret that this is me. So I like wanted to tell these people on the airplane that I knew Lady Goo Goo Gaga writer.
I would do things just to kill time. So I was in a play group. I remember one time all the kids were going to go to preschool, and that was great. I mean, great. We have time. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait. I'm going to drink straight vodka and smoke a whole pack of Parliament Lights, which I thought was funny. And no one laughed, and they all give me a dirty look. And I was like, you guys don't like Parliaments?
It can't be the vodka. It's got to be the Parliament Light.
But anyways, just stuff like that. Just little things. Like, I was like, whatever. But anyways, I started to get a lot of stuff sent to me. Legos, vacuums, tickets to kids' things. I roasted Pottery Barn. Pottery Barn, I don't even know if this is a thing anymore, but they used to send us a catalog with all the little bento box, and it would have a little julienne carrot. And meanwhile, my kids were eating like dinosaur chicken nuggets and like a peanut butter, whatever. So I roasted that catalog, and they sent me like a lifetime. I still think I have lifetime supply of like lunch stuff from Pottery Barn Kids. So my husband would make fun of me and be like, well, we can't pay the mortgage with lunch boxes or vacuums. So like, are you going to ever like go get a job, or what's happening? Anyways, it became way bigger than I thought it would ever be, which was awesome. And it also helped me to really hone my writing skills, and it held me accountable. People really expected it every week. And then also, so I'm a makeup artist, and as years progressed, and like Krista said, moms would talk about it. People didn't know who it was. People started to talk or figure out. Sometimes there would be people who figured it out, and then I had a couple times where people made makeup appointments with me, but they really wanted to see if I was Lady Goo Goo Gaga. It was starting to get a little dicey. And one time, I actually worked at Nordstrom at the time as a makeup artist, and this scandalous thing had happened. A mom in town, and people would come to me and say, listen to what happened today at Conard, or listen what happened at the bus stop, and say like, send me emails. And this woman, we have ski club here, which actually is really funny. When we were writing our first book, we put a Wednesday ski club into the book, where the whole town shuts down and everyone skis. And our editor in LA or Seattle or
Washington,
whatever, was like, you got to take that out of the book. Like, that's so fake. Like, there's no town that's going to shut down. The whole town shuts down to ski.
Unless you're West Hartford.
Right. I was like, we were like, no, it's real.
A lot of things that were going on in our town, they didn't think were
like,
real.
no, that's really
West Hartford,
true.
Pleasantville.
Yeah. So this really happened you don't have to deal with this yet, but when your kids do ski club in West Hartford, you have to go with the crack of dawn.
Grayson. Yes, I recall.
Yeah. And it's so stressful. You got to have the skis and all this stuff. And if you miss that window, it's a big problem. So this woman missed the window, and she came with the skis at 2:00 or whatever time when the bus was leaving, and she parked in the handicapped and left her car running in the handicapped and ran with the skis and the equipment to the bus, because children without skis are equivalent to being handicapped, apparently, in her mind. And so another mom got pissed at her for parking in the handicap spot. So while she was doing that, someone took her car for punishment. And so when she came back, off they went skiing, and she went back to her car. It was gone. And everyone was on Neighbors and Friends West Hartford. How dare someone steal someone's car? And then, there was the ski people that saying, like, people without skis, need their skis. It's an emergency. And then handicap people even went on and said, like, we think it's okay that she used that spot. It was an emergency. Yes.
What is happening?
Yeah. So, and then they found the car way down on like 5 streets away. The police found the car. Like, the mom was this irate that this happened. Well, I blogged about it. It went crazy. Everyone went crazy. And then the mom came to Nordstrom and had her makeup done. And I'm like doing her makeup. Oh, hi, what's the event or whatever? And then she's like, oh, well, my car. And then she starts to tell, well, I just had a problem with my car getting stolen because of, whatever. So I at that point was like, oh God, I was like at the Mac counter, like, can you do her makeup? I can't deal with this. Like, it's getting crazy. But there would just be I'm sure it's still the same. My kids are old now, so I'm not in it as much. And I'm sure moms are crazy still, but.
Crazier than ever.
Yeah. I mean, it was just actually really fun and funny, even though my husband says I'm not funny, but many of the people loved it. He was Mr. Gaga in it. And actually, I would sometimes talk about stuff that he would do that's annoying, as all husbands and wives are.
Give me an example.
Do you remember?
I think you wrote about my husband once about that he didn't know where the water shutoff valve was. And I was like screaming at him, my father would know where the water shutoff was. And I think you put that in a blog.
Yeah, we would get, our husbands would get mad at us. Anyways, whatever I would say about him, I can't think of it. His secretary he worked at a school, and all the staff would in the morning, because it would be Sunday nights, and then Monday mornings he'd be like, he'd come home, he'd be like, you said something, because everyone's giving me dirty luck, and all the women in the whole school told me I was an asshole. And I was like, oh well, I don't know.
So how many did you have, like, subscribers? Like, how many subscribers did you have? across
know.
the country, right?
Even the world, because you could
think-
see where people rent it up to 1 million.
Yeah, she had over 1 million readers.
amazing.
Yeah. And
We have to reignite that, I feel like.
So when we got our book deal, because
to
of
take it
cancel
down.
culture, I had to take it all down.
Oh, did you save it, preserve it?
I have it
You must
saved, yeah.
Do I get to read them?
I'm working on, so I started all of that thinking I'm going to hone my writing skills. No one's going to read this and it will be great. And then I'll write a book about parenting down the road. But it became like 12 years later and it's so much. And it's actually now, I don't think people would think it was as scandalous as it was at that time. So I don't
Imagine
know.
if social media were a thing then, though.
I
It is
know,
Now,
I
that
know.
would have went viral. So basically, you took Real Housewives of West Hartford.
Yes.
Said the things that nobody wanted to say, but everybody wanted to say, and utilized it to call people on the floor anonymously. Your
Yes.
Lady Whistledown. Your Bridgerton. Did they pay her royalties when they created her character? Because that's what she does.
Yeah, no. And a lot of people did not find it funny and hate me as a result.
I don't think so.
Yeah, true.
No, I'm saying I wouldn't.
Of course, if they hate me, they're not my cup of tea. So I don't care. They have no sense of humor. But
I think your relationship, you're both from West Hartford, right?
Yes.
no,
And for the record,
we're not
Oh,
from
no.
West Hartford.
Yeah. I'm
no, but
not
you're
from
in West
here.
Hartford
I'm-
now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? So you guys co-author books together, right? But how did you guys meet? What's that story like?
We met at the hairdresser. We were talking at the hairdresser and I couldn't stop talking. I won most talkative person in my high school out of 2,000 people. So I was talking and talking at the hairdresser and I was writing for Military Spouse magazine and Military Money and a lot of military blogging. I blogged for USAA, an insurance company. And we were talking about blogging and I was helping you to get...
No, I just met you.
Yeah, but we were talking about writing, and I was
No, we
telling
were not. We were
Yeah.
talking about something else.
infertility.
Yes.
We were talking about writing, infertility, our hair, and
First conversation.
Yes.
Yes.
And the hairdresser even was like,
Didn't you just meet?
yeah, we were talking about intimate stuff. we hit it off fine, and then we never talked again, I think.
No, then I booked myself to get my makeup done for the Marine Corps ball with you, to have you do my makeup, and we started talking more about writing and how you should write for magazines, and then you started writing for Martha Stewart Wedding and
Yeah.
some other magazines.
But our
Pop
hair
Sugar.
used to look really good, a lot better than it does now. And our hairdresser, who we were obsessed with, that we met there, went to jail. And we had ugly hair for a long time. I mean, it's getting better, but we were so upset when he
Yes.
went to jail. He might be out by now. I'm going. if he
You
gets out.
probably could get the haircut in jail if you bring this.
We
Oh, you
actually
can't get
went.
the
He got
scissors
out
in.
on bail, and we went to his house and made him cut our hair one last time before he went to jail. And remember, he gave us money out of the brick in the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. He got us a change. It was like behind this brick. He would like pulled it out and gave us change for our haircut.
How do you know there's not change behind my bricks?
Could be.
Yeah.
They're
Fine.
not.
We
They're
have
veneered.
no. We have no. I don't even want to know what his crime was. I don't care. The minute he gets out.
So
I'll be there.
you guys are at a hairdresser. You guys just meet. You guys are talking about things, intimate things. How does one start talking about intimate
I
things
don't know.
the first time
Probably
they
your
chat?
fault.
Yeah, I just always end up talking to people about
She has a
strange
million
things. So-
kids, and she had infertility, and I think we're talking about.
Isn't that an oxymoron?
Yes, it is. Because I had to like really figure out how to have kids. But I felt like we were talking about, I really don't remember, but I do, was I telling you how to have more kids if you wanted more kids and your husband didn't?
Yes, and I told
I said
you,
put a pin in the condom.
No. I
don't know what I
more
said.
kids. I did not want more kids, and I said I use a great method. I'm very good at not getting pregnant.
Yes.
And you agreed that you use the same method, and then we were saying we're so great at this method,
Yes.
and the hairdresser was like, "You guys are weird that you're talking about that."
Yeah.
What's your method?
Withdrawal, which you don't know about, but it's.
Sounds like a heterosexual problem to me. So does it work?
And I said if we had a withdrawal Olympics, we would win. That's what
Does
we
it
said.
work?
And you said no, we would win, and that's the hairdresser is like, "You're weird."
Yeah.
Withdrawal is what? What is withdrawal? Am I the only person
What's
that doesn't
it really
know?
called? Pulling out.
That does not work. How don't you read People magazine? That does not work.
It works. We're good at it.
I've seen more. Well, it's technically your
Which is
husband that would have
husbands
to
are
be good at it. That's like Maury Povich shit. That does not work. I don't think.
Well, we don't recommend it to others.
No, don't. We're the experts.
I don't think it would be you, though. It would be your husband's that are the experts.
You're right.
Well, I
you're right.
secretly wanted children, so I convinced my husband that this worked.
Well, conversations that lesbians don't ever have to have or worry about. It's fantastic,
She
really.
didn't even know what it was. That's so funny.
No. I mean, withdrawal. It sounds like I thought you were talking about like Parliament Lights and vodka. I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's funny. Anyway, so we hit
At
it
first,
off.
so the hairdresser, is that why the hairdresser went to jail?
No.
Why'd he go to jail?
we don't know.
I don't know.
We don't want to know.
You didn't look it up?
No.
And you went to his house and he was on bail?
We want to
and
keep
let him cut your
going.
hair?
We don't want to have any moral conflicts.
Yes.
I know, but you went to his house when he was on bail to get one last haircut.
Oh well, we didn't think he was going to kill us or anything.
Yeah.
Who cares?
So, and we think he's out. So it's definitely not a murder charge. He wouldn't be out.
he didn't murder it.
No.
Maybe
no,
assault. Maybe.
I don't know. I don't care.
No.
So is he out now? If he's out now, are you going to get your haircut?
We should investigate.
I'm not.
Why?
I don't know. I have 2 daughters. I don't think I should get my
We
hair
don't
done.
know. Okay. It
I
doesn't
don't
matter.
know.
It doesn't matter. Cut this out.
After this, we're going to look it up. So the question is, how many kids do you have, Krista?
I have 4.
And how many kids do you have, Nicole?
2.
So your withdrawal method doesn't work.
No, twice I wanted a kid. Get it?
Oh, when I wanted a kid, it required a lot more than that. So I get it.
Yes.
But for you, it doesn't work.
No.
You're going to...
Same.
No, it does work for me, but I don't recommend it to others because I'm a therapist and I have a professional reputation in the world where I wouldn't be out recommending this. But to secret hairdresser conversation, I could say yes.
So do
It
we
worked
talk
for
about
me.
this in any
And
of
we
the
should
books?
probably edit this out.
No, it'll be good. It'll be fine. You'll love it. We didn't say the name. If I had the name, we'd be different. I'll edit the name in. Be perfect. No, but
Is the thing a crime?
in all seriousness though. So so you have 2 books. Both
Yes.
you guys co-write the book. So each of you are a different character in the books, right?
Correct.
So you can clearly tell just from right now that you guys are 2 completely different people, both funny and very different. So
Yes.
who's your character, and is withdrawal in the books?
Well, I'll talk about the first book because the first book is about infertility and
great. Okay.
it's a thriller. And it also has a little bit of Lady Goo Goo Gaga in it because it is we placed the book takes place in Greenwich, Connecticut, and there's probably similar qualities to the Lady Goo Goo Gaga town and the town of Greenwich, Connecticut. So we have this upscale town where this woman is going through infertility and she wants to have a baby at any cost. And so she gets an egg donor and the egg donor goes back to get her egg. And when she goes back to get it, the egg is gone. And the only thing she can think of is my ex-husband sold this egg.
Because the egg donor wasn't a donor. She was just saving her eggs for later. And when
Fair.
she went to get them, they were gone.
That's like very obviously very common now, especially with young people. Keep going.
So I drew on some experiences that I had because I had secondary infertility. And after I had my first child, we had a hard time having our second. And so I was going through the infertility, like going and learning all about that. So when I was doing the research at the time, it ended up, years later when we wrote the book, I felt that I was kind of honing in on the infertility research, and Nicole was more of the natural storyteller. So we just combined like my research with her ability to. She had the idea to have a book because I was just in the beginning helping her with the infertility research because I was a therapist and in researching it for my own needs, and we ended up realizing that this could be a really good book idea. And she said, "Why don't you try writing?" Every other chapter. And so I took the chapter of the 40-year-old that was getting the fertility egg, and she took the character of the woman that was donating the egg.
Awesome. And you guys had 2 books out, right?
Yes.
Is there going to be a third one?
Yes.
When? Do we know?
We don't know yet, but
How do we come up with this name, Addison McKnight? Like, how does an author... I'm a huge book worm, you call it. I love books since I was a little kid. But why do some authors write in ghost names and some don't? And how did you guys come up with Addison McKnight?
well, they said that our names, Krista and Nicole, were kind of 80s, and
Yeah.
that it wouldn't
How
sell.
rude.
It wouldn't sell
That's
as much
terrible.
as if we had a really like dark, stormy name.
Frida?
and
Or Taylor?
Yeah, cool.
Yes, cool, Savannah, Addison, something like that. And then even the last name was going to be like Black or McKnight or something where you would right away kind of know it's a thriller. If it's like Savannah Rose, you're thinking this is a romance.
Interesting.
Yes.
If this is Addison McKnight. And then what was super interesting is that they said we couldn't have just Knight because then we would be next to Stephen King and no one's going to pick up your book next to Stephen King's book.
Fair.
So there was even, I said, what about N and K? Like initials, and they said no. There's initial fatigue in the market,
Yeah, it was very strategic.
so there was a lot of planning going into our fake name that we were going to have to live with for years.
These are the conversations that are all occurring that nobody knows anything about before the books get on the shelf,
Yeah.
right? And I know that you also have a military background podcast, right? You're a military spouse, and you have a podcast where you speak with other military spouses and kind of give them coaching and networking and all that, right?
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that, and did you incorporate any of that into the books?
I haven't yet incorporated it into the books, but we're open to doing that down the road. You never know. We had kind of toyed with an idea of having something at a military base. I have, in 2003, I started doing a podcast with a friend of mine. We were both blogging for Military Spouse Magazine, had a blog. And I felt that there was, successful women were hiring executive coaches. And I thought that the field was really interesting. And I thought these military spouses as a whole, like there's 500,000 military spouses, and a lot of them are underemployed, meaning they're not unemployed, but they're working like in a job that is below their education. And so I really felt that how can we empower these spouses? And I went to different military bases and gave keynote speeches and talks on how don't just follow your spouse around and follow their career, but also create a career for yourself. And I knew that as a therapist and lawyers and all these different careers that you really have to put effort into if you're moving every 3 years and create a portable profession and something that you can do and make money and be successful and not let the military life like hold you back so much.
Do you think a lot of, we're saying spouses, because there's some men that are spouses in the military, right? And some
Yes.
women. Do you feel like, in your experience, that there are a lot that the military doesn't do enough to help support and lift up and encourage and make, and encourage accessibility to jobs for the spouses? Do you think the military holds spouses back a little bit?
I wouldn't say that. I would say that they're trying. I feel that there's like a lot of times they don't have the funding to publicize some of the programs that they do have in place. There are programs in place where you can get scholarships and you can get more money for education and you can get these things, but you really have to tap into different networks. Like the National Military Spouse Association is a good one, but there's sometimes if you don't know about the resources, it's hard to get access to all of them. So I think that the military works because they know that in order for them to fight and win wars, they have to have the whole family has to be receiving resources that they need. But it's just whether or not they all have access to them. And sometimes before COVID, remember there wasn't as many portable professions as there is today. And like telecommuting was so rare. And when you lived in certain remote, like Yuma, Arizona, or you lived in like these little tiny towns, even in New London, there wasn't the jobs that they had access to in San Diego, California. So it's not like a universal thing where you're going to be able to tap in and get that information that you need to move your career to the next level. So I feel that providing those services, it was scattered, and
Fair. How are we going to get this into the next book, guys? Or maybe if the third book is done already, maybe the fourth book. How are we going to get this in? Like, what's our plot plan?
We just had a conversation outside.
It's got to have to do with Lady Goo Goo Gaga. It's got to have to do with somehow withdrawal, and it's got to have to do with a soldier.
No,
we have to do it.
It's not. So you have to take all of our stories and our life experience, and then we boil it down. And so, I, as a makeup artist, because that's been and an observer, right? I mean, I'm like, when you go to the hairdresser and you tell her everything.
You're a therapist, yeah, I get it.
I mean,
you've been my therapist a few times.
People tell me everything. And she's a real therapist. So between the two of us, we get so many stories from women. And we always say, like, I'm helping people with their outsides and she's helping them with their insides. But the common denominator is that everyone, no matter what, and that was all of our books kind of hit on this. women are just, everyone's trying to just be perfect. And we're all striving to be perfect. And everybody wants to be the perfect mom and the perfect looks and the perfect at their job and perfect. And a lot of these shows that we watch or the thrillers that we're reading is that when things go wrong, when you're psychologically just become so consumed with whatever it is that you're doing, and accidents happen, murders happen.
And we really like writing about rich people behaving badly, and we find it like entertaining and interesting, but it also does tap into some of our work.
It's not just you guys. Well, that's it. And like the work, right? So Nicole, I know you did, for a period of time, you did a lot of makeup jobs with the Real Housewives, right? For Bravo, right? So I've never seen Real Housewives. Is that awful? Does that surprise you?
It does not surprise me because I just don't think you're going to find it. You're not going to like it.
I mean, it's just not my cup of tea, but lots of people do.
I love it. I was
the
a
makeup's
fan
on point.
first. I was a fan beforehand. The first time I ever met them, they went to the casino, and the hairdresser referred me to the casino to do the makeup, and I was so stressed out. Remember, I had a fake pregnancy. I gave myself a fake pregnancy. I was so stressed. I stopped my period because I was like, didn't sleep. Bought every stitch
About
of
doing their makeup.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bought every single piece of makeup at Sephora. I was like, you don't know the Italian New Jersey housewives. They're like, it's very serious business. So, but surprise, I'm Italian and swear and I'm crazy just like them. So we hit it off right away. Thank God.
Of course.
And then it was totally fine. And I did it for like 8 years, but mostly while they were traveling. So I didn't have to go to New Jersey and be on the set as much. So, which was very fun.
You would do, when you're traveling, you mean you would travel with them or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that you think I'm going to say something crazy and terrible, but they were actually great.
Not crazy and terrible. I mean,
I think people always think that. They're like, oh my God, are they terrible? And I'm like, well, maybe, but I don't, it's like, I'm not fazed by it. And
Nothing that wouldn't be in the Lady Goo Goo Gaga blog.
It's fine. It's fine.
I think what I wonder about is you see, like, do they look anything like they do after they're makeuped on TV? Like, is it,
They do wear a lot of makeup.
Being a female that is with other females, like, you pray that when you're younger, not now, I'm married with 2 children, but you pray that when you're younger and you go on a date and things escalate, that you wake up and the person at least looks like they looked the night before after they wiped up all their makeup and stuff. Do they look the same? Like, do they look completely different with makeup than without?
Well, yes, because they wear a lot of makeup and lashes and stuff, but I will say their skin is always amazing. I mean, they spend a lot of time making sure their skin is perfect. It's aesthetic. If you like big lips and, that kind of look,
sure.
It's that aesthetic.
No
So, yeah.
crazy stories from that?
It's what you see on TV is usually, I mean, they would tell me everything too. And I'm like, do you guys want me to like sign something? They don't care. They just tell me everything. They would get in fights like off camera and like smash things and stuff. Like it's all real. Like I had a good time with them, I have to say. I actually would say the stories that are worse and more shocking are like in West Hartford, Nordstrom or Blue Mercury. Like, because you expect the Real Housewives to be crazy. But back to what we were saying about the perfection stuff, like the woman that you think is so perfect and great and awesome at PTO, but she fucking stole like 3 La Mer creams yesterday from Blue Mercury. I find that more shocking, the psychological craziness that women are like just so tortured. The stealing is not even, she's driving a Bentley to Blue Mercury. So that's even more interesting to me. Like that kind of stuff interests me more.
Yeah, so we'd like to write about
the beauty too. Like people are so neurotic.
Are those in the book?
We are going to probably write about a character that's a real estate agent, which Nicole has experience in, and we're writing about a kleptomaniac, and I'm a therapist and I've studied kleptomania.
Yeah, they're psychological thrillers, so we always try to include that kind of stuff in there that's interesting to us. It's not just a murder for no reason. We try to really dive into like the psychology behind the women.
Yeah, our first book was about infertility. The second book was about childhood trauma and how it manifests differently in different people. So there's like an element of research behind all the reasons why the rich people behave badly.
And what's the third book?
The Realtor.
Fine.
The second book, have you ever been to Martha's Vineyard?
Of course, I love Martha's Vineyard.
Oh, okay. Well, it's a book about, it takes place on Martha's Vineyard.
You going to ruin it for me? Is that what you're going to do?
No, but I'm just going to say.
Eggertown, where?
It's just the island in general. Like the
Eggertown,
island
sure.
is almost like a character in the book because it is, people think of it as like where Obama and Kennedy's and, you know, all the rich people are. But in fact, my experience, I worked when I moved back to Connecticut and I was kind of in between jobs. I took a job as a grant writer for a nonprofit for kids with cancer, and I became totally immersed in this program. And the big program that they did was they took the sick child and the whole family to Martha's Vineyard. That was their summer program. And so I ended up spending a lot of time there and a lot of time working and a lot of time off season working with the locals and volunteers. So I got a taste of the island after Labor Day. And so this bougie one had a very different experience.
I love bougie.
In her fancy house with a pool.
Yeah, when I brought her to my mom's summer house in the vineyard and sat at the pool, you know, reading our first book, she was like, "This is why you like Martha's Vineyard and why I don't."
Yeah. So we thought that was interesting.
We thought it would be good to show two different perspectives of the island in in a book, because a lot of vacation towns are like that, where you have such a good time and the tourists love it, but then there is this dark underbelly.
The cool thing about talking to you guys, though, is your personalities are both really funny in their own right and different. And, you know, as I told you, I was a reader, and Danielle Steele, I would read, like religiously read. I couldn't get my hands. I mean, you can't get your hands on enough of them because there's like 743 of them. But then all of a sudden she started writing with her daughter and it went to total shit. Like it was awful. Like they were the same person. I feel like if you co-author something, you should be two different, very strong, very funny, witty personalities. It does.
Witty.
Just talking.
That's rude.
What'd you say?
She said, "I don't think you're witty."
Well, one witty, it's fine. I think that
you're not the witty one. I'm just saying usually that's the case.
I think that what's cool is like getting to know you guys a little bit makes me honestly want to pick up the book and read it a little bit.
Good.
So let's talk about the Goodreads. Where are we at?
4.
It's all down to the Goodreads. It's got to be above a 3.9.
We're really
if I'm
proud.
reading it.
Both of our books are like 4.5 stars on
fantastic.
Goodreads. And what I love, even though we argue while we're writing, is that they say in the end that even though we have different voices, because we each take a different character, that it doesn't feel jarring and it doesn't feel like you're reading two authors. A lot of people are surprised in the end to realize that Addison McKnight is two people.
Yes, we love
and
that.
we
But
find
that's
that a
the
compliment.
point. That's what you need. You should find that a compliment. That's amazing. It's like an art.
Yeah.
So 4.5 on Good. I mean, that's like legit, guys.
It's not 4.5? Is
don't
it
know.
4?
Is it over a 4?
Yeah.
At one day, I looked and it was 4.5. Maybe it's gone down. I
But
don't
it's
know.
definitely it's very high. It's very high.
My floor is a 3.9. I'm not touching a book if it's
Yes,
not a 4. So
I agree.
I'm not wasting my
agree.
time. So how many books have we sold?
We stopped looking, but I'll tell you this. The average for a debut author, I think they said 500 books total forever, and we've sold at least last time I checked like 50,000.
Holy, that's great.
Yeah, so for us that was very good for our debut book.
So everybody that sees this podcast should buy the name of the first book.
An Imperfect Plan.
Okay. Should buy that book and read it. Goodreads the heck out of you guys. And the cool thing about Nicole knowing you, because now knowing you guys you love feedback. So I think if people read your book and were like, you're not like one of these people that are just going to put a website on a page and be like, it's going to go to some editor. Like if people actually wanted to talk to you, you guys would yourselves reach back out, which is really cool.
Yes.
Because I think that Frida McFadden, like if I could reach out to her, I'd say stop writing the same book over and over with different character names because it's really frustrating.
Well, she's not even writing those, actually. I think she had banked a lot of books.
She did. That's what they said. But I mean, how many books? I mean, it's like a book comes out every month and they all read the same way.
But they're very good and everyone loves them.
I like one good thing.
love
I have
the
to
first
put in
5.
one good plug about her. My daughter is 16 and she got my daughter and all her friends reading again, and no one was reading for a long time. So I'm really happy about that.
I agree with you. The problem is after the first 4 or 5, but you got to just pivot a little bit. Like you guys have explained, your books are so different. You got to pivot. It's the same story, different character names, different place.
We don't want to bash other authors.
Not bashing. Feedback constructive. And if she had more than just a place for me to reach out to her directly, I would absolutely do it. But I'm a Hoover fan too. I'm really into, like, I couldn't read Verity all the way because it's so fucked up that.
Oh God, if you think that's fucked up, wait till you read ours.
I had to skip chapters. I have a little daughter, and like seeing like what happened there was like too much for me.
Keep reading though till the end.
But I did. I just skipped a chapter.
Okay,
so.
and when you read Imperfect Plan, I know you're gonna be like, you might be like, my makeup artist is crazy.
And we can't say it on here. We've talked about my book, and we have a name, which is fantastic. It's fantastic. We can't say it, but we have the name. So that book will be a bestseller. We're guaranteeing that, right?
Yes.
We'll all write it together.
Okay,
it'll be perfect.
great.
It'll be great.
Yes.
All right. I appreciate you guys coming on. Again, Addison McKnight is what they would search for the author. And I bet you if people get to know you the way we've gotten to know you here today, I would hope to see that sales soar and we can get drum up some really good excitement for the third book coming out in
The spring-ish.
minus COVID or another weird thing happening, right?
Yes.
All right, cool. Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Lady Goo Goo Gaga signing off.